Everyone, this is Roxx here to talk to you about the hopefully upcoming boxing sanctioned match between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate. The reason why this fight is so fantastic and problematic is the fact that Jake Paul doesn't want to take this fight. There's some real reason that Jake Paul doesn't want to take this fight. First, Jake Paul's last fight was against a 68-year-old man who has health conditions, and he didn't even knock him out or even really land any punches, and I think he won by a split decision or decision. But fighting Mike Tyson when you're like 27, 28 versus a 68-year-old, there's not a whole lot of... If you're about 28 years old and you're fighting a guy who's 30 years older, which is Mike Tyson, there's not a whole lot of credibility about getting that win, because 30 years weathers your body, particularly when your body is used to fight, being hit, headshots, body shots, and just age. But Jake wanted that fight, so they made it happen. Mike Tyson got 20 million. For some reason, Jake Paul gets 40 million for a fight that nobody actually fought. There was very few punches, jabs, no good uppercuts. There's nothing going on there. Like that was just lame. So now we're gonna talk about Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate. Jake Paul has denied this fight. We don't exactly know why, because he just kind of like does a word vomit salad about why not to fight him. But it's just not him that's the problem. But I'm gonna get back to Andrew Tate in 1 minute and break each person down. Okay, first off, we have Andrew Tate has said multiple times on video and on maybe TikTok and also maybe on X. He said, I'll give you $3 million to fight. You put up $3 million to fight, we'll fight. Okay, cool. Good. Next one. Ryan Garcia, a little bit younger than Jake Paul and quite smaller. He's literally about 50 pounds smaller than fat Jake Paul right now. And he wants to fight Jake Paul because he's a real fighter. He also does not need the money. He's worth about $70 million. So he's doing well. He doesn't need a money fight. Jake Paul picks people that need the money, so they fall down when they're told to. Ryan Garcia is just gonna wipe Jake's ass. He's going to, take, lick 2 fingers and then put him in his bunghole, and Jake will be like, ooh, I like that. And then Ryan Garcia would be like, oh, sorry, I thought you wanted me to do that and play with your bunghole. Then Ryan will beat his ass in, because Jake Paul's garbage and trash who picks fights to win, not fights to fight. And that's the weakest thing that you can be, targeting the weakest link because you don't even know how to fight properly. Let alone the fact that Jake Paul literally said he's already wiped out the roster of fighters and he needs new fighters. He literally said he has wiped out the whole dusty roster they have. This was on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, and he needs new fighters. So I've just talked about now Andrew Tate, who's dying to fight him, who will beat his ass. Ryan Garcia, who will go in there and beat his ass. And along with that, now we have another major threat that Jake does not want a part of. Can you guess who it is? Yeah, you can. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor will rip him apart, just like eating chicken wings and throwing the bones behind him, like Friar Tuck from a cartoon show in, I think it was like in 1983. There was a cartoon called Robin Hood, and Friar Tuck would just eat like a whole bunch of chicken and just throw the bones in the back. Conor McGregor would rip apart Jake Paul. That's just an absolute fact. It can't be digested by Jake Paul because he's just afraid. So we got 3 fighters who are high level. Some are older, some are younger, some are smaller, some are faster, but all of them are just dying to rip apart Jake Paul. Do you really think that Tommy Fury was dying to rip apart Jake Paul? I really don't think he was dying to. He just wanted to beat him because who gives a crap about him? Woodley got knocked out, and all of the rest of the guys that Jake had just aren't that great. Like, they aren't guys that are actually legitimate boxers. Not one single match that Jake Paul has had any participants, meaning Jake Paul and his opponent, being WBA or World Boxing Association champions or qualifiers, or have WBA standards or WBA credibility or WBA licensing. I don't know exactly how all of those fit together, but this is the thing. Jake Paul's not fighting real boxing matches. Real boxing matches are sanctioned by the WBA, and that's how you get a record in the WBA. You can't just fly to, I don't know, Taiwan or Greece or Italy Saudi or some part of Africa and then do a bunch of fights and come back to the WBA and say, this is my record. That's not going to happen. The fact of the matter is that you don't have a record sanctioned under the WBA. If you're not sanctioned under the WBA, your stats don't count. So Jake likes to say he has 6 losses, 1 win. Jake Paul has no losses and no win because just like if he did what Kimbo Slice did, who remembers Kimbo Slice? Who remembers Kimbo Slice? Kimbo Slice was destroying people in backyards at backyard barbecues. Okay? Chicken and wings and ribs. Chicken and wings and ribs, and then main event, Kimbo Slice fighting guys from down the street or a few blocks away or within the state. Kimbo Slice demolished people. When he got into the pro boxing with the licensed WBA registration, Kimbo Slice did win some fights. That guy's a bad motherfucker, and no human should ever mess with Kimbo Slice because that dude is a bad motherfucker. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that when he went in, he wasn't ranked on how many backyard fights did you have? No. Your record is 0-0. Kimbo Slice started at the bottom, and he did bring it up top. He never reached the greatness because I think that it took him a long time to build up that strength, but he did get older, and the younger guys who had better upbringing had a bit of an edge on him. No respect to Kimbo Slice because he does have a WBA record. Jake Paul does not have a WBA record. Supposedly they said that this fight with Mike Tyson and Paul, which was garbage, I watched it a few times, that was some crap. The fact of the matter though is that it's like, unless it's ranked and registered in the WBA, it doesn't count in your boxing league. That would be like me getting in 6 hardcore fights in high school, and then the WBA are like, oh, tell us about the fights you had in high school, and you say, I had 6 and I beat them up, or they beat me at times. That's great. You can join our league. You start from scratch. So to wrap this up, because I'm going on too long, because I'm quite passionate about this, because I want good boxing, not that Mike Tyson fight, and not Jake Paul picking random people. It's just nonsense. We have Jake Paul has these options. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, Jake Paul better pick either 1, Ryan Garcia. He's 50 pounds lighter, at least, maybe even 60, and he will punch in Jake Paul's cranium and give him brain damage. Next, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is a nightmare because that guy is partially mentally juiced up naturally and possibly just mentally ill, but that guy can move and bob and weave. Move, bob, weave, and lay down those pounds. And yes, he also weighs less, I think, right now than Jake Paul. And then there is, drum roll, please, Andrew Tate. Jake Paul does not want to fight Andrew Tate because he knows that Tate has a reach that's longer and Jake Paul has a reach that's shorter. The fact of the matter is that Andrew Tate is about 8 years older than Jake Paul, but he's still young and he's been training and he's in good shape. And he's been doing professional fighting, mixed martial arts for years. Jake Paul started, 4 or 5 years ago with fixed fights. It's nonsense. Andrew Tate's his worst nightmare because Andrew Tate said, I'll give you $3 million, you give me $3 million, winner takes all. So the winner gets 6. That just makes sense. But the fact of the matter is that Jake Paul will not take this fight because Jake's stats, 6'1", probably a 70 to 72 inch reach. Jake Paul, 230 pounds. Andrew Tate, 225 to 230, probably a 74 inch reach. Could be more because he's kind of like a long guy, but he's muscular. He's 8 years older, but he has way more experience. He's had 4 titles. 4 championship belts in 4 different kickboxing leagues. Jake Paul has no belts. He has no respect for the sport. He has no kickboxing status at all. All of his fights are with shorter guys, smaller guys. And all of Jake Paul's fights are with smaller guys, shorter guys, older guys, and broker guys that just need the money. But Tate doesn't need the money. Conor McGregor doesn't need the money. Ryan Garcia doesn't need the money. You really think that Jake Paul's gonna put himself up against 3 different guys, which he could over a year and a half? Do you really think that he's gonna put his life on the line? But then the next point is this. If he doesn't fight Ryan Garcia, Conor McGregor, or Andrew Tate, his career will be a joke. It's over. Very few people give a crap about him finding another former MMA or boxer who's now a taxi driver who needs a paycheck. We've seen enough weak-ass fights from Jake where he doesn't have to do any work. It's just whack. That guy's whack-ass garbage. I don't give a shit about Prime or Celsius and all these things he sells, like that deodorant called W. Like, that's great. But the fact of the matter is that when is he going to fight a fight that is not a guaranteed win? There's offers right now. And if he doesn't take one of these, he's done. And the offers are, once again, Conor McGregor, Ryan Garcia, Andrew Tate. And if he can't just say yes and let the rules be set as the rules, no input from him, no instructions on how long each round will be and what's the maximum amount of rounds, then he's clearly too pussy to box. Because Jake Paul is a big pussy. He's a bully. Why are you fighting broke people who are old, who probably have some body damage, who are former mixed martial arts fighters, not boxers? It's because he's got to push things to make himself look best. Well, now we're at the point, like, I'm gonna say this is the best for him. You gotta fight Conor, or you gotta fight Tate, or you gotta fight Ryan Garcia. Because if you don't, you are a whack-ass piece of crap. You have no respect. And like I've said before, he said on Impulsive with Logan Paul's podcast that Jake Paul said to the crowd, said to his brother, said also to Mike Millicutt, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, that he's going to be within 3 years a top competitor with the WBA and then get the championship. That's how delusional the guy is. He's avoiding fights that are challenges, but saying he's going to be a champion. And also, his girlfriend, who actually seems quite sweet, and she's blonde and hot, and she's from like Denmark or Finland, he said that while she's going to be the champion at speed skating in Switzerland, he's going to be the champion boxer. What kind of fucking moron thinks that you're gonna be the king boxer of anything when you don't even take any challenges? Will his girlfriend, probably by then ex-girlfriend, get her championship as being the best speed skater in Finland and Denmark and stuff? Yes, she will get that. She's talented, she's gorgeous, she's savvy. I'm sure Jake's a fun guy to chill around with. Also, he seems like the kind of guy that just would be bitch whipped. A bitch whip guy is when you basically just do what you're told. That's why he's gassing himself up, saying that he's gonna have all these titles in 3 years, when he won't even fight Ryan Garcia, Conor McGregor, who's not even a boxer, and Andrew Tate, who is a boxer and a mixed martial artist. Jake Paul, pathetic. Andrew Tate is gonna wipe out Jake Paul. Logan Paul's pathetic. Tristan Tate is gonna knock out Logan Paul. Absolutely. Can't wait to watch this. Thanks for listening to me ramble, everybody. This is Rexx Roxx. Rexx Roxx out. Please like, comment, and subscribe.